Alrighty, welcome back to the PI High School Football Report. Happy New Year to all, including you, Dan Sostek.
Yeah, 2026, baby. It's our year. It's our year.
The first check I've written in the new year, I wrote 2025.
Yeah. I think I've done that 3 times.
But then what I did was I crossed out the 5 and put a 6 next to it. All was well in the world.
So I'm in a college basketball fantasy league, and the way we keep score is through Excel spreadsheets. And part of it's you write what game they're playing, and you have to write the date. And the format is you do day, month, and year. I don't know why we do the year. It's like we know what year it is. But every year, the first week is the new year, the new week of the new year. And I always wrote 2025, so I did that again.
Yeah, it usually takes me a couple weeks before I start writing the checks out correctly.
Yeah.
But anyway, checks will keep getting written. All right, back in the belly of the beast, PennLive HQ, obviously still sponsored by the great folks at OSS Health. We appreciate their sponsorship of this podcast. Award-winning podcast. I keep having to remember that. Fun show today, Dan. We're going to argue for a few minutes here, and this is why we're going to argue about the best and worst sports movies of all time. And I can't get away from it. I don't know what happened. Maybe this just all comes flooding out at the end of the year. You know, they name best movies of the year and things like that, and everybody's, trying to maneuver the pecking order for awards season coming up. I don't know what it is, but I can't get through any of my social media accounts or anything else that I'm into on the internet without getting these lists, and they're all horrendous.
Oh, yeah.
All of these lists are horrendous, but I guess that we're about to talk about our favorites.
Yeah.
Their mission is accomplished, right?
Yep.
That we're late. But I'm not telling you where the list originated from. I'm just telling you every list I've seen is doo-doo, for lack of, to be PC here. And also, obviously, coming up in a little bit, we have a terrific guest on board. Special guest, former Bishop McDevitt All-State lineman Riley Robell. You may know him from taking part in James Madison's terrific trek to the college football playoff. He just released some big news concerning his future via the transfer portal, and it is not close to Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Yeah,
not at all.
Pretty much the longest continental U.S. flight you could have from.
Pretty much, yes, pretty much. So we will talk to Riley about his decision. We won't get his opinion on best and worst sports movies because he's a much busier man. Got to leave for the next destination in a few days, so we'll have him on anyway. We'll talk a little bit about NIL. We'll talk about James Madison's terrific season. We'll talk about transfer portal and how it all sort of came together for him. I think this is the Wild West. You told me before we came on. I heard a number that 2,200 or 2,300 players were in the transfer portal or jumped in the transfer portal when it opened. And you said 30% of college football rosters in the transfer portal. I guess that's numbers about jive, but that is shocking.
Yeah.
That's just shocking to me. And we had a couple more, too. We'll talk about those as well. All right, Dan, so listen, let's get right to it, all right? Your list is going first.
All right.
Okay, you go 5-1.
All right.
You're 5, and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
All right.
All right? Go ahead.
All right, so my 5 is, I've got some more pretentious ones in the chamber that I could have picked. Like I was trying to pitch you on a 50s film called The Harder They Fall. Which
haven't seen it, but I will see.
Starring Humphrey Bogart. So it's about a promoter trying to promote this sort of freak show Argentinian fighter that fights in fixed fights and then gets a non-fixed fight, and it's really good. It's one of those 50s movies that I know people don't like. I saw a figure that really depressed me that the oldest movie on Netflix right now is from 1973. There's not a single movie on Netflix before 1973. There's tons of great stuff that really still holds up even from the 50s, and that was one of them. But I'll go more modern, and my number 5 is, it's not the best movie. If you're going in with the wrong mindset, you're going to say this is the corniest stuff I've ever seen in my life, and you're going to roll your eyes. But Field of Dreams still hits me like a sack of bricks, and I can't help it. I can't. It's just it's a beautiful, magical realism movie, and Kevin Costner, to me, now he's going to be on my list of one of the worst sports movies ever as well. But he's mostly the greatest sports movie actor of all time. I don't think there's. I really don't.
I think I think that's legit. I think that's a legit argument. Yeah, yeah.
He embodies everything you want in a sports movie. He's so charismatic. He is such a movie star. And in this movie, you just buy. He's just this guy that moved to Iowa and starts hearing voices, and there's just so much heart in that movie. I just love it so much. I love the Fenway Park scenes. I love James Earl Jones.
It's James Earl Jones and Ray Liotta.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's just like you have to be a real kind of grump to not appreciate it. I was also told Uncut Gems doesn't count for this, so I can't.
Uncut Gems does not count, even though Kevin Garnett's in it. It does not count.
All right, number 4, I'm going to go the opposite of, the kind of a movie that melts your heart and makes you feel things in a positive way. One of the more depressing movies of the last 26 years, and that's $1 Million Baby.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It is a hard watch.
It is a hard watch.
But I think it's Clint Eastwood's best movie he's directed. I think it's one of the best performances by an actress in Hilary Swank. It's just, it's really just, it is super emotional, super moving. I've always thought boxing movies boxing lends itself to film more than any other sport just because of how cinematic the actual fights themselves are and kind of how easy it is to film them in a way that still looks like the sport. And that movie, I think it was on the New York Times list of the 25 best movies, period, of the first quarter of the 2000s. So, incredible movie. I kind of peeked at your list. I think we're sharing this one. Number 3. Again, this one is not actually like some incredible achievement in cinema. It's not like, it's not something that like Jean-Luc Godard is going to look at and be like, wow, I can't believe they made this movie. But if you ever wrestled in high school, and if you ever, it's just, Vision Quest is just incredible.
You cannot have a top 5 without Vision Quest in the top 5.
And the Pele speech is one of the greatest moments in sports history. Matthew Modine is incredible in this movie.
Yes.
He is absolutely incredible. I was a terrible wrestler who suffered from major nosebleeds, and so when he started getting nosebleeds in this movie, Linda Fiorentino in the movie is incredible.
Fabulous.
And the soundtrack is so good.
It is.
It's like half of my gym playlist is Vision Quest soundtrack. So that's number 3. Number 2 is also kind of and also every single wrestling coach, I ask them, do you make your kids watch Vision Quest? They all say yes.
Yeah. Plus the coach had the bike shorts on. Yeah. The scene where he went up the pegs.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic scene, yeah.
Number 2 is kind of one that borders on sports, but I think it counts. You have enough sports scenes, and it's about the business of sports, and it's starring my birthday buddy, who, he has some baggage, but he is the greatest movie star of all time, and that's Jerry Maguire and Tom Cruise, and I think this is a defining Tom Cruise performance.
I'll allow it.
I think this movie is so entertaining. It's so funny. It says a lot. I don't think there's ever been a movie that has straddled the line of being so for dudes who love sports and women who love rom-coms.
It's for everybody.
It's literally
for everybody. Yeah.
The Cuba Gooding Jr. performance that won an Oscar also features the best Oscar-winning speech of all time, wherein he kind of goes insane. It's just an incredible movie. I love the Mel Kiper's in it, I believe too. You have so many great cameos. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the general message of it still kind of stands. It's a lot about kind of the ruthless business of sports.
It's a love story.
Yeah,
it's what it is. It's a love story.
And then number 1, gonna be about as boring as you possibly can be. And people love getting weird about this stuff. They love saying, actually, Rocky 2 is the best movie. Actually, Rocky 3 is the best movie. Actually, Rocky 4 is the best movie. Actually, Creed's the best movie. No, Rocky 1 is the best Rocky movie. We don't have to be there. I think you make an argument Rocky 4 may be more entertaining. You can make an argument Rocky 3 might have some more interesting messages, but Rocky 1 is one of the it is a defining movie in the history of the medium. It's so defining that they're making a movie about the making of the movie, about how Sylvester Stallone basically refused to sell the script because he wanted to star in it, and no one wanted to star in it because no one knew who he was. And he said, I'm not giving you the script unless I get the star in it. I'll take less money. And it's just, it's such a it really is like you watch it and it's such a well made, well crafted movie of just it's basically an archetypal movie. You don't get many of those anymore.
It's brilliantly written.
Yeah,
I mean, for him to
for
hammer that out,
like,
right?
And it's like for people who see Sylvester Stallone now and just see a big sack of meat. It's incredible that he basically put together this movie about this kind of dumb fighter, but he's not a bad guy, but he works for bad people, and he's balancing this unrequited love, and he's trying to make something of himself, and he does the spoiler alert, not winning the fight at the end is an incredible choice as well.
It is, yes.
It's just, I mean, you can pick more interesting picks. I could have picked something like When We Were Kings, one of my favorite documentaries about the Ali Foreman fight. Movies like Moneyball have made a push to people's favorites. Happy Gilmore was my favorite movie as a kid, but I'm not sure it quite makes the cut. But yeah, those are my 5.
Yeah, well, those are all good picks and all allowed. I don't think, though, you can have a top 5 without Hoosiers. I don't think. Number 1 is Gene Hackman. That's
rest in peace.
Right,
Yeah.
rest in peace. That goes.
Dennis Hopper, though, is what makes that movie.
Dennis Hopper makes the movie. It is the ultimate David and Goliath story, similar to what many people have Friday Night Lights on here.
Yeah.
What was it? Dallas. What was the team they played in the championship? Dallas Catholic or Dallas whatever.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to beat this team. But, Hoosiers is a fantastic story, redemption story, obviously, for the head coach, small town. That's what sports stories should be.
Yeah.
Vision Quest is like that. Mm-hmm. Small town, going up against Shoop, which is who's also awesome.
They can go wrong. I'm not a huge fan of All the Right Moves, despite loving Tom Cruise. So.
Yeah, well, All the Right Moves is a classic for us because it was filmed in Pennsylvania, filmed in Johnstown. So all the places you get a feel for. Vision Quest was on my top 5. Bull Durham, I think, is absolutely, if you've been around sort of that semi-pro existence, everything that happens and all the ridiculous conversations and just interpretations from players who come together and basically are thrust into this team, from all walks of life and all nationalities. This is exactly how it is in the Bush Leagues.
And you don't want to get on your soapbox, but kids these days do not understand how good Susan Sarandon was.
Oh no.
She was just incredible in that movie as well. So.
She was fabulous. Yeah. You didn't mention Miracle.
I love Miracle.
Miracle was it's one of those movies where if it's on, you watch it. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You drop it, you watch it. And the number 1 movie is most people don't have this on anybody's list. I don't know if you've seen Victory.
I've never seen Victory. But
okay,
I know Victory.
Do yourself a favor and watch Victory. Yeah. Find it wherever you can. Your boy, Sylvester Stallone, is the lead. Mm-hmm. You've got Pele in this thing, Michael Caine, and King of all kings, Max von Sydow.
Oh, so you got the 7. You got the.
It is the greatest movie, the greatest ending. The writing is spectacular. It's basically the POWs playing against the German national team, and all the German national team was embarrassed the team. They set this up in Paris. Stallone has to wiggle his way on the team because he's a bad you-know-what. And he gets on the team as the goalie, has no idea what he's doing. And he just looks like an oaf in goalie. But they're also planning an escape at halftime. Yeah. And it's just an unbelievable story. The ending, you'll sit there and your jaw will be on the end.
And I think
it is fabulous.
For anybody listening, we also agreed that Raging Bull is not. It's a boxing movie, but it is like kind of crossed the threshold into the pantheon of great movies, period. So I don't think
exactly. That would be on another list for us. But so there you have it.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable list. You did a really good job. I'm proud of you. So let's talk about some movies. These are some movies that people tend to like.
Yeah.
That are absolute dog. You know what?
Yeah. I'm risking my first one. I'm risking because we live in Central PA and we know. The first team of Central PA is Penn State, but a close second and maybe a first in some people is Notre Dame. I hate Rudy. So much. I hate that movie
I don't hate Rudy.
I can't stand that movie. it's all about nothing. Nothing happens in that movie. He gets one.
He got the sack.
He got a BS sack. It doesn't mean.
It might have been a TFL. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like also they made him even smaller. Like it was just it's like it's just bad. It's not good. Like I don't care about Rudy. I don't care about Rudy Riddick enough.
It was a little overkill. Like where it lost me is and I tried to hang on.
Yeah.
I tried to hang on, but when the father comes into Notre Dame Stadium and he says, "This is the most beautiful thing these eyes have ever seen," I'm like, okay, listen, I've been to Notre Dame Stadium, not the prettiest. Yeah. It's just
the whole
not.
Janitor thing too, like it's just enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we both agree on draft day too is a bad.
Draft day was horrendous.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrendous.
And as a Celtics fan.
So
Celtics pride has got to be one of the and
maybe the worst movie ever made.
In theory, the idea is actually kind of funny.
Yes,
it's like, oh, you're going to kidnap the best player of the other team, but they kind of just came up with the idea and didn't have anything beyond that. And
it's so bad.
And Dan Aykroyd's really bad. It's like the performances are really bad in it too. Yeah. It's just it's tough to watch.
It is tough to watch. A couple other horrific movies in my mind. The Sandler edition of The Longest Yard.
See, I love that movie.
I thought it was terrible.
I love that movie.
I don't know.
I love both of them, but
the old one I can take is okay, but the new one Varsity Blues, which you know was going to be bad.
Yeah, James Vanderbeek, right?
When James Vanderbeek's your quarterback.
Yeah,
that's number one. Number two is it was an MTV produced thing, so that you knew it was not going to be good. Bloodsport, although Van Damme doesn't get enough credit.
I like Bloodsport. That's one of those movies you have to watch it in the right way, right? Like,
what way are you going to watch it where it's going to be good?
You just watch it like I'm watching a campy movie. Like you watch it like you're watching like an episode.
Oh, it's campy.
Yeah, like you have to accept the camp. You can't watch it expecting
The problem I have is they threw in that montage where he's getting chased by the two cops, and the music was bad.
You cannot tell me that.
And then he was on the bus in the montage.
When the guy blows the
guy's knee out?
No, when he blinds him in the middle of the fight, he has to fight blind. Or is that kick? No, I think that's.
Oh, you're at Bloodsport. Yeah.
That's such an incredible, stupid thing to happen in a movie. I love it.
I think it might have been just talcum powder. Yeah. I don't know anyway.
But he goes blind.
I did not like Foxcatcher. I think the story in itself was I just didn't like.
That was filmed at the Peterson Event Center.
Yeah, I just didn't like it for whatever reason. I think we both agree, and we have a colleague who loves this movie, but two for the money.
Awful.
If there's ever just an unbelievable A-list celebrity who you cannot see being a Division I quarterback, it's Matthew McConaughey.
He's like 5'4".
Yeah, you just can't see it happening.
Yeah.
I mean that's just me. Is there any other ones I have? The Fighter, it was not. The Fighter is very highly. I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
But it's highly recommended.
Yeah.
At least on most of the lists have been funneling through my stuff.
The Fighter's got a great Christian Bale performance, and I mean I think it's a pretty good movie, but it's a little overwrought. It's not a fun movie to watch.
It feels forced.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Bale's.
Yeah, I've never seen Cobb. Never seen the Ty Cobb movie.
Cobb was not good.
Yeah,
Cobb was not good. No, 8 Men Out, quality flick.
Yeah,
couple of those older ones, Bang the Drum Slowly, stuff like. A couple of them were good.
Yeah.
They wouldn't make my top 5 though. So,
I think I wished I liked The Way Back more than I did. I was excited about that. The Ben Affleck. Alcoholic basketball coach movie. But.
Good friend of mine who lives in Red Deer, Canada, just wrote a book, came out last year, called The Way Back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Good. So it's good. Okay. I haven't read it yet, but I have to buy it on Amazon and get it through. All right, let's get to some real football here.
But he is going to be in Hollywood, so
he is. That's exactly it. All meshes together. Yeah. He will be close to Hollywood. He can walk amongst the stars and all that.
Who knows? When you're a big offensive lineman like that, you can get some roles in movies. They need a big brute in
They need security guys too. You know what I mean?
Or you just need a big bully in a movie or something.
Exactly.
You get an extra part.
Could you see Riley Robell in like the new Game of Thrones-ish kind of thing?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I think he could get a part.
I think he could make that work. He's got a good cut for it up top. So, all right, let's get to our guy Riley Robell. We got a chance to catch up with him a little bit earlier today. So here's our guy. All right, let's welcome in Riley Robell, former Bishop McDevitt Wrecking Ball All-State player / James Madison guard, And now we've got a new home, but we'll get into that. Riley, first and foremost, thanks for joining us. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm doing great. Doing great. How are you?
We're hanging in there. It's a little chilly right now, but the older you get, the more you worry about it. You're still a young buck. You can take it. You have to play in this stuff, so yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
So Riley, obviously, we wanted to have you on because a big piece of news for you, and obviously a tremendous season at James Madison, making your way to the college football playoff. I just wanted to ask. That's the first question for me. What was it like participating in that game, particularly against Oregon?
It was a great experience. Honestly, it was one of the best times of my life. Just getting to go out there, get to experience something I've watched on TV since I was like 8 years old. I'm watching all these Alabama go every year. Nick Saban's on my TV, and then all of a sudden Nick Saban's talking about us, and I'm watching College Game Day talk about JMU, and it was such a great experience. And then getting out there and actually getting to play against some Big Ten competition, top ranked competition. I love getting to play against the best. It's the only way to see how you can hold up against them. And I thought it was a great game. I'm interested to see what happens in the future here.
Yeah, obviously there with your guys make the playoffs. There's just so much. It's like the NCAA tournament, right? People are going to always have discussion about who should be in, and then there was a lot of discussion, right, about should teams like James Madison make the playoff. Obviously, you're not at James Madison anymore, but for those people who kind of question that kind of stuff, as someone who's played against the best teams, what would your counter to those people be? Be like, this should only be a Power Four competition. That teams like James Madison shouldn't be, shouldn't get to take those spots.
I really appreciate this question because this is something that I've been wanting to touch on for a little bit here, and you see the hate, you see everybody, and I understand all perspectives, right? Like every team wants to get in, every team that had a good season, put together 1 or 2 loss season wants that spot. And I'd say that James Madison's offense was one of the only offenses to put on 500 yards, and everybody's saying against third strings, whatever. I was on that field. I know I was blocking their starter when we scored that last touchdown, but if everybody wants to say 3-star or third string, that's the same, 4-star, 5-star athlete that was way better than all the JMU guys coming out of high school and when he was settling out to Oregon. So I'd like to argue that point, but I think the most important thing is to know that was, if you were at that game, you could look up in the top left corner of the stadium, and there was a wave of purple up there. And that's on the other side of the country. That's something that, I didn't even think I'd get to see, knowing how great of a fan base James Madison has. But with that being said, I think that all you have to do is turn on the pick'em when we got picked and put into that 12 spot and look at the reaction our team had. And then the weeks leading up into that game, the work that the team put in, the coaches, it's something special. And it's something that if somebody thinks a group of 5 team doesn't belong in there, they've never been around football and they don't understand the talent that is walking around in those locker rooms. And just because they might be a little undersized, might not have had the show that they should have out of high school to get them to that next spot, that group of 5 team getting into the playoff spot, eventually one of those group of 5 teams is going to win. Mm-hmm. And it's going to turn college football upside down because nobody's going to think it was even possible. We've seen the upsets before. And I think that as time continues and players keep getting better, everybody thinks this gap is going to grow. I'm a fan in the opposite direction. I think that the football is going to continue to get close as players keep looking to play. And, when you get out there, you're not scared. You want to go run through somebody's face and, prove yourself. And I think that's the most important thing with the CFP's exposure that they can give to the group of 5 schools.
Yeah. And my argument has always been, you look at the portal right now, we'll get into your portal experience, but some of the most sought after guys are guys from P5, group of 5 schools, right? Look at Ole Miss right now. Their quarterback is from D3 Trinidad Chambliss, and he's tearing up University of Georgia's defense. It's just because like you said, football is a lot more democratic than I think people wanted to be in terms of talent. And once one of those group of 5 schools pulls off that upset, it's going to be a special story. So, but yeah, you are one of those group of 5 players now that's headed to Power 4 school. Officially announced yesterday you're heading to UCLA to join Coach Bob Chesney. We talked beforehand about what Coach Bob Chesney's been to you so far throughout your career. Can you kind of take us through this process? Were you always kind of targeting wherever Coach Chesney ended up? Were you listening to offers from other schools? How did this process play out for you?
This was a very interesting time. I think the portal is a very, very crazy perspective. It happens very quickly, and it's something I didn't expect. I was expecting a little more like high school, but it was very different. I'd say my heart was always in it for Coach Chesney. That's Coach Chesney and his staff kind of came into JMU and turned around my college football career. They moved me from defensive tackle back to offensive line where I wanted to play, and they allowed me to have that experience of being able to play football out there, play freely, just play my brand of football. And we share a brand of football at this school and with this staff. And I think that when I got in the portal, I opened up my opportunities. I wanted to see what people had to say and kind of get an evaluation of myself. But my heart was always with Coach Chesney. The tough part was moving to California. That's very far from Pennsylvania. So that was definitely the struggle with the choosing my options. But at the end of the day, when everything was laid out, I was like, my heart's still telling me I got to follow Coach Chesney. I got to get out there. So, inevitably that's where I'm at.
Is it surprising how fast you mentioned how things happen so quickly in the portal? Where do you sort of, obviously you enter your name into the portal and then things just start to go. Do you get alerted by coaches? Do you get alerted by your representative, or how does that process sort of work too?
It's just up in the air. A lot of it comes through your agent, like that's most of the communication, I'd say, through like GMs contacting him and whatnot. But I would say, it's really crazy. I'll just randomly have like my agent reach out about 3 schools, and then a coach will contact me, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know he had my number. That's awesome. And then I start talking to that guy. It's just stuff that just pops up. I mean, you never know. You get a text on LinkedIn. You never know what's coming next. But when that window opens, it's just like your phone just starts dinging every couple minutes. You better keep it on you if you want to talk to, if you want to find out where you're going to go.
Yeah. When you were in high school, did you ever think you'd be talking about having an agent and deal with all this stuff? Like, I mean, it's crazy when you hear. I mean, it makes sense, right, with the amount of money being talked about and just how difficult these decisions are. But has it kind of struck you how different this college football world is than when you were growing up watching and probably imagining what your college career was going to be like, how much different it is?
It is like night and day. I mean, you obviously, I would never have expected anything even close to what this has become, but it's just it's a crazy situation. I'm gonna be one of the guys that says that I think it's great for the sport, though. I really do. I think it grows it so much, and a lot of people hate on it. They want it to be like old fashioned, but I think the game's changing, and I think that in terms of experience and getting ready to go play at another level after this one is just like, this is the best exposure you can get. It opens up. I've got a buddy who played center at Indiana, and he had an opportunity to go get in the draft. And with that being the case, he didn't even want to go into the draft. He took a job with Barstool Sports instead because he had so much exposure during the whole process of playing. Yeah. Mike Kadick, yeah. That's one of my boys. Yeah. But that's just a perfect example of college football, this little game that everybody, nobody thinks about, is getting so much exposure now. It's opening so many opportunities, and I think it's because of all the chaos that we're talking about right now.
Right, I'm not going to ask for an NIL number because obviously that's part of the package. But is there any negotiation? Like, I wondered if it's just, hey, listen, this is what we're willing to give you. If you come, great. If not, we'll move on to the next guy. I mean, is there any sort of back and forth? I mean, your situation was a little bit different because of Coach Chesney, I know, but.
I mean, as far as everything with that, that's kind of why I hired the agent. I'm big with football. I just I try not to be with the money and everything like that. Hired the agent to take care of that, and I just have to go train and stay on the field, make sure that I'm earning my keep while he goes and makes sure that we get it. So I'd say that there's definitely some negotiation from his behalf, but as far as it's going, like with the athlete, I feel like most of us usually stay out of that stuff.
Now you've been to UCLA, had your official visit. You said, what do you like about the place? Not so much football program, because we know the football program's great, but what about California?
California was crazy. That was my first time ever going out west. I've never been, but we drove down and saw Santa Monica Beach. We were at the pier. I was just stunned. The beach is right there. I was just in a huge city, and I drove like 2 minutes, and all of a sudden I'm staring at the ocean. I'm like, oh my goodness. It was kind of like breath got taken away. I'd say everything is just right there too, is like the part that's so nice. I was on my phone scrolling, looking for, anywhere to eat. And I'm like, every spot, every restaurant I've ever seen in my life, it's just like within a walk, like a 10-minute walk. I'm like, that's just ridiculous.
And for an offensive lineman with NIL money, that's gonna be a fun place to be.
Well,
it's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, listen, as somebody, I lived in LA for a couple of years, so I can give you some. I can give you some tips. But my main tip is stay away from Fatburger, because if you go there, you're not gonna want to leave, and you're in training.
Yeah.
So just stay away from Fatburger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. All right, I'll avoid it.
Yeah, my dad actually did his medical residency at UCLA. He said the craziest adjustment for him was the amount of celebrities you just see like in everyday life. And you're gonna walk around. He saw Muhammad Ali walking around a couple times, and he's like, you just kind of get used to it. That's and stuff. Crazy. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. Talking about your football career though, getting back to that. You obviously are coming off your best season of your college career, right? You make your second team All Sun Belt. What is the goal at UCLA? I imagine you are trying to play your way into getting into those discussions to get drafted, right? Getting to the next level. What are some of the things you think you've done well to kind of put yourself in that position? Where are kind of the areas you think you're working to get better at and kind of put your name on the radar as you get to the Power Four?
With this jump, obviously there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and that's just to make sure that I can excel and take my talent up to the next level and, continue to compare against these guys. Right now, this offseason, I'm just putting on as much size as possible.
Right. The last thing I wanted to ask you too is obviously another football question, but a couple years ago when you were heading out of town to Harrisonburg, we talked about you loving defense, loving cracking heads. You were like, if I got to play football, I might as well hit somebody and and you did that extremely well. And you mentioned that you wanted to play, you wanted to move over to offense. What was that sort of switch for you? What did it? Did you think maybe your future was better suited for all the offensive line?
I got down there. I started to play D-line a little bit, and I didn't quite, like, I couldn't conceptually understand. Like, sometimes as a nose guard, I'm just going to sit in there and hold up some blocks for a minute, and that wasn't like a part of the game I wanted to continue to play. And I still had an opportunity to go try offensive line. And I got over there and they started, teaching me how to pull and counter pulls and everything like that. I did it a little bit in high school, but got some technique with it. And then it was like, all right, well, talk about cracking heads. They just pull me. Yes. I just run.
If you're pulling out,
face.
Yep.
Yeah. So with that being the case, I was just, kind of fell in love with it. And then now it kind of feels like it's almost, you can just work on the craft all day. And it's almost like artwork now when I get to watch like Trent Williams on TV on Sunday with his hands and everything. It's just like, I want to get to that level with my ability. I want to try and be able to, have that perfect technique every time I throw a punch. And at this point, O-line just seems like something I should have always been doing,
Right.
I got two more quick questions, and I think we'll let you go. But I always like asking offensive linemen this question. I think we ask every offensive line because usually when you have quarterbacks on, you ask what quarterbacks they watch. They give you the boring answer, right? They watch the best quarterbacks in the league. Running backs watch the best running backs in the league. But offensive linemen, you get some kind of varied answers. Who are some of the linemen? You mentioned one in Trent Williams, but are there any guards you watch and you kind of to look at for technique? Who are some of the your favorite guards that people might not even think about that you think really help your game?
So I'm big with the Eagles offensive line. Yeah. I've got Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens are two of like just my favorite players like out there. Jason Kelsey, back when he was playing, that's who I try to model my game after. That's the guy that I want to play like. These interior guys, like small scrappy dudes in there. And then he's a backup on the Eagles right now. I met him a little bit ago, but Willie Lampkin from UNC, undersized dude, dominated in the preseason. I think that guy is that dude knows how to he knows how to use his leverage better than anybody.
Isn't he 5'11"?
Yes, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And then when you meet him and you're like, you play NFL offensive line, and that dude, he'll run you over. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. So, I'd like to model my game after those guys. A little bit smaller. Really got to work on their technique and work on dominating people inside that in the trenches.
Yeah. And then last question for me, because for most football players, kind of the last memory is their last football game. But we got to see you on the wrestling mat as your last kind of athletic moment at Bishop McDevitt. Do you miss wrestling at all? I know UCLA doesn't have a wrestling program either, but do you ever kind of have the urge to get out there and give it one more go, or are you get all the physicality you need out of football?
If I'm being honest with you, I mean, definitely get all the physicality out of football, but when right around this time, actually, when we turn on NCAAs, we turn on the Southern Scuffle. It just happened, and I watch all my friends wrestle. It's like, yeah, I miss it a little bit. I'm watching Lucas kill it at Bucknell, and I'm like, dude, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But no, I'm loving football. I think I more just miss the camaraderie that wrestling brings. Can't really compare to a sweaty wrestling room where you feel like you can't breathe. That's a once in a lifetime kind of thing.
That's awesome. Well, Riley, we certainly appreciate your time. Obviously, congratulations on UCLA. What's the timeline for you now? When do you head west for good?
I get out there on the 12th. I'm moving into my apartment on the 11th, so nice. I'm got a couple days to get back to JMU and ship my stuff out there.
Yeah, and then
very
you
quick.
Just keep your winter coat here. You're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Straight shorts out there. Yeah, no sweatpants.
Exactly. Well, we appreciate your time, bud. Obviously, best of luck out there. Thank you so much for joining us. And obviously, we may call upon you again at some point as we get closer to the season. But hey, enjoy LA, man.
Yep. Stay warm.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, we are back. Obviously, special thanks to Riley Robell. Again, unbelievable player at McDevitt. Had a great season at James Madison. Now on his way to Hollywood, California to be part of the UCLA Bruins. That's a really cool move for him. Obviously, he's got some inroads there with Coach Chesney being there.
Chesney just feels like a guy, right? That he feels like a Signetti. I mean, he coached him where Signetti coached, but he just feels like a guy that he's going to win wherever he goes.
Yes, I agree. Of course, before we get going here, we're going to name a couple guys too. Riley's not the only one, not the only local, quote unquote local.
Not the only McDevitt guy either.
Not the only McDevitt guy who's jumped in the portal and now has a new home. Dan, let's run through a couple of those guys. I think we got probably 9 or 10 that we looked at quick early.
Yeah, at least. Well, I think we also forgot to write on the list too, Sean Lee. But he was the one. He was kind of the big surprise yesterday. I know there had been a report that he had entered the portal, and then yesterday he announces he's staying at Pitt, which I know Pitt fans, obviously I'm a Pitt alum, I have a lot of
fabulous news for them.
Yeah, Pitt fans are very happy because
there's two other guys that are,
they're losing a linebacker probably to Ohio State or Miami. He's probably gonna get $2-3 million. So to keep Sean Lee after the year he had, multiple freshman All-American teams, that's big for them. The other big news yesterday, Stone Saunders. Really cool story, I think. Obviously, Mark Stoops fired at Kentucky. Right. He was the guy that primarily wanted Stone there. So Stone enters the portal. He's going to a familiar face, right?
San Diego State and offensive coordinator, Matty Johnson.
Yeah, it's that McDevitt to McDevitt connection there. So he's now you just I don't know if the other quarterbacks are going to accuse him of favoritism or something, but I think Matty's going to be pretty fair and pick the best guys. So.
Oh yeah. No, he's Matty's on a fast track, and he's got now 3 or 4 different programs under his belt, and obviously is an offensive guru too. So Stone will be in good hands there at San Diego State. We mentioned Rico Scott earlier, staying at Alabama. It appears, which is good news for the Tide, and a couple other guys that obviously made a lot of headlines here at the high school ranks in the mid-pen the last couple of years. Alex Irby, the quarterback from Steel High, who was at Navy, spent his first full season at Navy. He is now jumped into the transfer portal. No home yet. No, not committed yet. Jair Rawlson, the defensive back for Bishop McDevitt.
He's been generating some higher interest, I think. I think he's had a really good career, really good year at Kent State. We always liked him at McDevitt, right? He's a little undersized, but he was a real pesky player.
He was one of those, like, it was almost like when you needed a play, like, boom, you just expected him to come up with a big play.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised that he found success at Kent State.
They didn't throw his way a lot either. No. Like, that was one of the keys for him.
He was kind of a guy that, if they had him this year, it might have. I don't know if it would have changed that Roman Catholic game, but they were kind of missing a true kind of lockdown corner like that.
Yeah, and also, too, like I said, when you don't get thrown your way, you don't have unbelievable eye-popping stats. I think he had, like, maybe 3 or 4
a lot of
picks.
Fumbles, right?
Yep.
I think I remember his nickname was the Thief. And
he was the Thief, yeah. An interesting guy, too. I did not know this. You told me this, Dan, before we went on here. Max Mosey, who played quarterback at Central Dauphin.
Didn't he make the state title game?
And
was he the quarterback when they made
2019?
Yeah, I believe he did.
That could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Yeah. But is now a slot receiver. Spent a couple years at Holy Cross.
Yeah.
And now in the transfer portal. And our understanding is he's got an offer from Rice.
Rice, yeah. So could a little jump up there. Rice, I've heard, is a great school, right? And I mean, you get to play college football in Texas. I don't care what school in Texas you're playing at. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So, but obviously, if he's getting interest from Rice, there's probably some other opportunities there. But he's a great story. We're definitely gonna have to catch up. I hope maybe we can get him on the podcast or something to talk about. Kind of because especially a guy like him where I don't think in high school he was. It's never like you felt like he was this athletic freak, right? That could make the trade. Like he was kind of frisky, but no.
It almost seemed like it was a like not. I don't want to say a tweener.
Yeah.
But like you weren't sure where he was going to end up at the next level.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say he was playing quarterback out of necessity.
Yeah.
But he was playing quarterback out of necessity.
Yeah.
It was just like he was a good athlete. Where you really had to get him the ball.
Yeah,
he
but
had
you
to
didn't know.
But
in your head, it's like I don't know if he's a good enough athlete to play at the Division I level at wide receiver, and it looks like he is. So that's an awesome story.
A couple other guys you mentioned. We mentioned Pitt earlier too. Jules Goff, the running back for Pitt, in the portal. That's not good for the Panthers, and obviously wide receiver Kenny Johnson, in the portal as well.
Yeah,
and
I know Jules was he was surpassed on the depth chart by a true freshman who they brought back, and I imagine had to spend a lot of their running back budget on Ja'Carrion Turner. So, but Jules Goff he was a promising player. He had a really good first full year of action. I think he'll be a really good player where he ends up. Could see could be at a place I don't know where he's generating interest, but place like Temple or something feels like it would be a good spot for him. Some place where he could get a lot of snaps. I think he could be a 800,000 yard rusher on the right team.
He'll land somewhere. There's too much talent not to. Absolutely. Nick Del Grande was the guy that caught my attention just looking through the latest thing. Former Lampeter Strasburg lineman. Was at Coastal Carolina. He has now found a new home apparently at Duke.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's a great
ACC champion Duke. So
yep.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Absolutely.
And there are probably countless more because, like you said, 1/3 of the college football is in the portal. It's
nuts.
It's not. We got some perspective from Riley on it too, and I think it's interesting to hear the players who are dealing with it right now's perspective. But it's definitely a lot to take in from people outside of it.
Well, it is because it's like a first come first serve. Like if you can't get the guy in the first couple of days, you have to move on.
And
like there's not a lot of.
And when you talk to Riley, you talk to him, and he says, my agent's handling everything. That's probably just what most of these kids are doing. They're most like, it's mostly just like these agents are trying to make business decisions, and that's important, making business decisions. But you do wonder when you're kind of handing off your football career to a agency, how much are they keeping in mind your actual football development?
Right.
And I don't think for someone like Riley who's going with his former coach, it's the right call because you're going with the guy who developed him.
Yeah.
But for some of these other situations, it's like some of these agents are probably just looking for the best offer, and it's like, I don't know if that's going to benefit you in the long run, but we'll see. Sometimes it is life-changing money that if you use the right way, it doesn't really matter what happens because you're making $1 million.
Yeah, and it's just like you said, 1.5% or whatever, moving on to the pros. You can't fault these guys for chasing the money right now.
Yeah, it's a systemic. It's a systemic issue.
Right, exactly. And listen, coaches have been doing it for 50 years. Mm-hmm. Chasing the next big thing, the next challenge, as they call it.
Yeah.
Or the next big $6, $7, $8 million contract. So you can't blame these guys for trying to jump it in and trying to get a little bit more money out of it because it's the last they're going to play football.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it at all. All right, Dan, we appreciate it. Happy New Year again. Thanks all for coming back and checking us out. We'll be here every week. And obviously special thanks to Riley Robell, the new UCLA offensive guard. He'll be a serious player out there too. They don't play Penn State though next year.
No, closest.
Well, this year. Sorry.
Closest game will be Maryland. So all you McDevitt fans.
College Park, write it down. Circle a date. It's only an hour and 20 away.
Yeah.
Get down there and see your boy. So, all right, that'll do it for this edition of the PA High School Football Report. For Dan Sostek and Megan Heaton, I'm Eric Epler. Thanks for joining us.